Oh, hey guys, welcome back. Alright, this is going to be the first real lesson, and I really want to start with the fundamentals. And by that I mean 12 principles of animation. I think it's very important to go through each of the principles and understand how can we practice them in our day-to-day lives. So let's start with anticipation. What is anticipation? In animation, it's something we do before the main action to guide the audience. So, for example, if the character is doing a jump, before he goes up, he needs to go down first. And it looks like this. Alright, it's that easy. That way the audience knows what's gonna happen, and the action itself just looks natural. I'll show you again. Cool. So how do we practice it without drawing or opening software? What I want you to do is just whatever action you do, try to anticipate it. Try to give your whoever you're interacting with an idea of what's going to happen. And I do it all the time in my life. For example, if I'm having a lunch and I'm about to pay for my order, and they ask me like cash or credit, and I say credit, and I have my credit card with me. And the way I pay is, before I pay, I do an anticipation, and I go like this. And that's how you easily incorporate anticipation in your daily routine. At the cafe where I'm usually having lunch, they actually really like when I do stuff like that, because sometimes I'm so committed to this idea of anticipating it. I can do this thing for like 15 minutes. So cashiers and waiters can have their own lunch break, and it's a win-win situation. This is something I call physical anticipation, but there's also mental anticipation, which I want you to practice as well. And the way you do it is, let's say you have something really important in a couple of days, like an exam or a job interview. What I want you to do is to start thinking about it and anticipating it and really focus and concentrate on it. And the great indicator of you're doing it right is when your anxiety kicks in. And that means your anticipation skills are going through the roof. And you should be able to see improvement in your animation very soon. And before we move on to a different principle, let's talk again about anticipation, but in a general sense. Basically, anticipation is doing the opposite thing before doing the actual thing. So the way to practice it can be doing opposite things before doing actual things. For example, when your loved ones ask you, "Do you love me?" you can say, "No." Yes. Another principle I want to talk about today is squash and stretch. And it's something we use in animation to preserve the volume and to show weight. It's a really straightforward principle, but let's take a moment and talk about it, and let's start with stretch. So how do you get better at stretch? It's easy, you stretch. The best thing you can do is splits. Believe it or not, all the greatest animators can do splits. And if you're wondering like, why haven't you heard about it before? It's because they keep it as a secret. And I'm gonna tell you more industry secrets later on, but for now, the bottom line is, if you want to do good animation, you should be able to do splits. And I can do splits too. Let me show you. Yeah, it's that easy. So you should really take your time and learn to do splits. By the way, do you know who can animate real good? Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now, squash is a bit complicated, so I want you to ignore it, because the only way to get better at squash is by playing squash. And I don't want you to do that, because I think it's messed up. Imagine locking yourself up indoors in a small room, trying to really smash that wall real hard with all the anger you have. I mean, it's a sacrifice we do as animators to rather not get better at squash, but to stay sane. Because today you're playing squash, tomorrow you kill people.